Rob, my dear friend, thank you so much for being here today. We're really excited to get to have you here on the summit.
Thank you for having me. I'm absolutely pumped, and it's as usual an amazing day here in Bali. You nailed that it is a very special place, and I'm not sure I can really give you the answers to why so many people end up here, but you just have to come and check it out yourself, and I think you'll figure that out pretty quick.
I will. Thank you. It sounds really exciting. Lots of waterfalls and warm weather and tropical things.
Absolutely, absolutely, very special.
Well, Rob, take us away, my friend.
Thank you very much. Well, firstly, Elysia, I want to start with acknowledging you. You're obviously acknowledging all of us men for jumping on here, but it wouldn't be possible without all the work you've done. And I'm not sure, obviously, all the other speakers have seen what you've been doing. And, obviously, like anything, setting anything up, there's some ups and downs, and you've just done an incredible job. So massive, massive credit to you. And to all the other speakers out there. I've been able to catch a fair bit of this morning, which has been absolutely incredible. And Julio, my wife, would be so jealous of all those horses because she was brought up riding and competing. So, to see different techniques that people do, it's been mind-blowing. For me, very old school. I battled a little bit this morning about, and I have for a long time, on how I would show up to present today. And, if there's a saying that I've heard a lot over the time, and it's if I want to be free, I've got to be me. And, I've got the long blonde hair and I wear a hat, and I'm not a professional speaker. I don't have any qualifications as such. I don't have any pieces of paper to say that I'm qualified in any areas, but neither do a lot of successful people that help a lot of other people. And for me, I look up to people who are out there just trying to make a change and fumbling their way forward. And I think that's the best way to learn and grow. So, what I can bring today is just honesty, down to earth. Yes, I'm Australian, so I think we have that culture pretty down pat. And yeah, I'm just going to share a little bit on my passion. I'm not going to dive too deep into my past. I honestly, it's an interesting thing with this physical and mental health. A lot of people like to focus on what happened in the past and righting the wrongs. But for me, it's not about that. It's about moving forward in every single way possible and focusing on what the future looks like. And that's something that I really love to bring to the guys that I work with is what does your future look like? Our past really, really doesn't matter, because if we continue to focus on that, we're going to get stuck in it because our subconscious is going to continue to bring that up. So, yeah, I'll roll into it. So, like I said, a lot of my stuff's going to be based around what we put in our mouth. I think, mental health really stems, and the reason why I'm so passionate about this is from what you put in your mouth as well as what you put in your mind. And why I'm passionate about that is because I did everything right as a semi-professional sportsman. I ate clean, I exercised, I did everything that society told us was the perfect thing to do. Yet I still struggled for 15 years. I struggled with gut health. I struggled with mental health. I struggled with energy, all these different things that I just couldn't get my head around, even though I was doing it right. My wife was a health and PE teacher for 10 years. And one day we just looked at each other and thought, you know what, we own a house, we eat clean, we spend all this money on ourselves, yet we're still not lit up, we still don't feel great. What exactly is going wrong there? And, as a man, you kind of just, you shove that down, as we know, and it's something that I did. And little did my wife know that most days when she would go to work, I was at home struggling, feeling sorry for myself, struggling to get out of bed, really trying to get my finger on what was actually going wrong in life. And it took a lot of years to really dive deep and figure that out. And luckily, we live in Bali. We have an absolutely incredible life. We get up each day feeling healthy, fulfilled, and I can share a few tips and tricks on what it is that we've been able to figure out. And if it's something that people want to implement, that's fantastic. Now, I've got notes. Like I said, I'm not a professional speaker. I've got my little book here. with a few notes just to keep me on track. And I think for anybody that watches this that really wants to become a speaker or wants to empower other people, it's okay to do it your way. And you know what? There's nothing worse than having the notes sitting up there above the phone and reading them like this. Everybody knows you're reading them. So I'm going to be honest and tell you that I've got notes there that I can, just keep me on track and share some things. So where I wanted to really start was everybody that's speaking on here, and a lot of us want to serve other people. That's service to many leads to greatness. Jim Rohn quote that I absolutely love. However, what I believe is to serve others, you have to serve yourself first. And if you don't do that, and parents, Elysia, I can see you, and I know that you're a mum. Mums are the most guilty for that. They put everybody else first and they don't fill their own cups. And we obviously work with a lot of mums and dads and couples and men as well. And it's been the biggest thing that I've noticed is that people aren't filling their own cups. They're trying to serve other people and they're wondering why, A, they don't feel great, and B, why they're not seeing results in other people like they would love to see, or why people aren't getting sustainable results. That was the biggest reflection I had was, why can I help people lose 10 kilos in 30 days or 2 to 3 months get great results, but why are people falling back into old habits? And I really went inside and started to reflect on myself and why it was happening to me. Yes, had the nutrition down pat, but why wasn't I seeing the results that I wanted to see in business, in my marriage, in other relationships? What was going on for me not seeing those results? And I dive deep. Now, I've got a jug here. This is something that I do with people. Now, you guys may have seen this example before, but what I share with people now is you go and fill up a cup, which is you. And then if you've got 3 kids, get 3 other cups, fill your cup and then tip it into the kids' cups, okay? And then have a look what's left in your cup. Now, it's a really good example because it makes people have an aha moment because they go, wow, there's literally nothing left, or there's a quarter left. If you're lucky, there's half left, okay? And that's where they go, wow, I understand that. Now you understand what filling your own cup means. Then I say, well, go get a big jug. Maybe this can be you. Fill that to the top and then fill these cups up and see what's left then. And you may have 3/4 left. There's a whole lot more in your jug compared to what you had in the little cup. So it's a good example just to use as a visual for people to really have that aha moment. When I saw that, I actually saw it at a church. I'm a Christian, and I was at a church and, the pastor did it. There was water going everywhere. It was quite funny, but it was a perfect example on what it looks like to try and fill other people's cups with an empty cup. So I've actually reversed it here. So a lot of people say, well, where do I start? What does it look like for me to start to fill my cup and reprogram my subconscious mind? What does that look like? And a lot of people say, well, it's all about the morning rituals. Yeah, it's all about how you start your day. How you start your day is how your day flows and how you finish your day. Now, I'm going to throw a curveball here and say, I actually believe it's how you end your day. And I've done a lot of work. I started to research, what does it look like? Why is my programming set for failure rather than success? And, it's old programming. Like I said, I'm not going to go back in the past, but there was programming in there that just wasn't set for success, not long-term success. And I follow Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, absolutely love him. I follow Bruce Lipton was the first guy that I started following. And Bruce is very technical, and I'm not. I'm trying to put this in layman's terms as best as I could. And I started watching these guys and getting more confused, yet I could see what they were trying to share. I was asking the question, well, tell me what I need to do. What does it look like to actually start to reprogram that subconscious? I understand that it's not set for success, but what have I got to do? And that's where I started to learn that as you're falling asleep, you listen to things that start to reprogram, because you start to go through different brain waves. Again, I'm not going to get technical, but there's a point where your brain starts to take everything in like you're a child. So I actually believe that if you reverse it and you finish your day listening to things that are going to serve you, listen to the things that you actually want in your life. So if you want more money, listen to money affirmations. If you want a better relationship, find people who have great relationships, successful people. Tony Robbins and Sage, absolutely incredible, right? One of the most famous couples on the planet, but they have a beautiful relationship. So listen to Tony Robbins as you're falling asleep on relationships. Or if you want better health, find a guru that's in the health field and fall asleep, and you will be amazed with what starts to happen unconsciously. Okay, it'll just start to happen because you start to reprogram your mind. Sorry, I'm just checking. I don't have the time, so I can't even see here, but that's okay. I'll just keep rolling through. Elysia, if you want to jump in, if I ever say how long have I been going for, feel free. Just hold up hands. It's totally fine.
You're totally fine. You have like 38 minutes for your speech and questions left.
Perfect. Yeah, I thought I'd have plenty of time. So guys, first step, start to serve yourself. It's as simple as that. Stop trying to fill everybody else's cup if you're not feeling amazing yourself. Just take the time, be selfish. Men out there, I know this is a men's summit, let others know that you're struggling and you're going to take time for yourself. It's absolutely okay. People want to know that. We don't need to be the hero and continue to lift everybody else up, because it's going to come crashing down. And I know for me at the age of 30, I had everything, beautiful marriage, 2 properties, my own business. We had money coming in. Felt the worst I've ever felt in my whole life. So I got selfish, started to really focus on myself, started to fill my cup, okay? Now, how I started to do that was with my nutrition, okay? Now, 5 years later, I believe mindset is the #1 key to success. However, I had gut health issues, which was throwing my mind off. So I hit the #1, like type in the comments #1. If you ever fuel your body with things and you can tell up here that it's not serving you. And what I mean by that is that I was eating foods and I was getting a headache straight away. I was foggy in the brain. I couldn't concentrate. I didn't feel right. Now, yes, I had gut health issues a few hours later, but straight away, almost instantly, I was feeling off and I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm eating right. Like, I'm eating clean. I'm doing everything that I've been told. I'm eating my fruit and veg, my whole foods. I'm taking my supplements from the health food shop. I'm spending $1,000 a month at my local Whole Foods health food store, getting this advice from the girl behind the counter that may not have had much of an idea. She was just selling products, and I was feeling off, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Why am I not feeling right? Okay, so I saw a couple of ones go in there, and I started to really dig, okay? And the biggest thing that I started to see was that what we're actually fueling our body with isn't necessarily, this was back in 2015, right anymore. Yeah. Now, I know there's a lot of people from America here, and Australian regulations aren't great either. The whole food industry, we all need whole foods, 100%. Anybody that tells you that you don't need to eat whole foods is a little bit ignorant, and they've got their heads in the cloud. However, it's also ignorant to believe that that's the only option we have nowadays, okay? There's over 1,000 different chemicals that are going on our fruit and veg nowadays. If you shop at a supermarket, unfortunately, you're subjected to these different chemicals. So I didn't believe it. I was a whole foods person. Eat clean, exercise, you're going to feel great. And that's exactly what I was doing. That's exactly what my wife was doing. That was exactly what all the professionals were telling us. Just eat clean and exercise and you'll feel great. Yet my mother was 30 kilos overweight who ate clean and exercised. My dad had mental health issues who, you know, looked after his body when he was young, and then he ended up being, you know, getting into a space which was a big reason why I started to look at it. He didn't feel good and he didn't tell anybody about it. So he started resorting to things that didn't serve his body to obviously feel better. Okay, so it's okay to start to question, well, is eating whole foods and exercising the answer? And bluntly, from what I've found, because I feel the best I ever feel now at 37 years old, it's 100% not the answer. Yes, you need it. Grow your own produce if you can, but start to question what's actually going into your body and how you can start to serve your body better. And Elysia, I might drop it in the men's group. I follow a guy and a mentor of mine, Peter Greenlaw. He's written a book called Why Diets Are Failing Us. Okay, so I might pop that link. I'll do a post in the men's group in the Lions Den on that video. That video completely changed my whole life. So I'm not going to continue to dive too much deeper into all the technical sides on why diets are failing us, but watch that. It's an 11-minute interview. Diets Start with Diet, James. I absolutely love that. Watch that interview and you will understand exactly why. Okay, so I'm going to drop that in. Now, my third thing that I wanted to quickly talk about, I have a great friend, a mentor, and a business partner of mine. His name's Lockie Horner. Again, I'm going to drop a Facebook Live that he did as well. He's been a sports dietitian and a personal trainer for 25 years. He actually trains the top trainers in the world. He's been teaching personal trainers on he was a pioneer when protein started to hit the market. He had to really push the barriers there again on whole foods versus starting to supplement with proteins and different supplements and things like that. Now, again, put a number 2 in the comments if you've heard the term, it's all about balance. It's all about balance, okay? It's all about, now, James, I'm pretty sure, James, you're the personal trainer. Sorry, mate, I was looking earlier, but it is so freaking dangerous when, sorry, Calvin is the personal trainer. I've got it. And I don't know, Calvin, please comment below as a personal trainer and somebody that teaches people on health as well. If you teach your clients that it's all about balance. Now, why I want to share that I think balance is a very scary thing to be, PT 20 years, it's a very scary thing to be teaching people is if you take a scales, an old school set of scales, right? And you have unhealthy food on one side and alcohol and cigarettes and the nasty things that everybody knows that you put in your body. And then you have health, yeah? And you have an old school set of scales. Now, balance would mean that on one side has exactly the same amount as on the other side, right, to balance it out, okay? So you can probably understand now that if it's all about balance, you've got equal amount of the bad stuff with the equal amount of good stuff, okay? The diet isn't about balance at all. It's actually way, way, way out of balance. And the reason why I think sharing that balance is a very dangerous thing is because what it's doing is it's teaching people that it's okay to grab that piece of cake. It's okay to have that drink, which it is, not balanced though. And what happens is you have that piece of cake one day and you say it's all about balance. And then the cake's there the next day, and you go, you know what? It's okay to have that little bit of cake. I know I've got to finish it off. It's all about balance. Then there may be something left on the third day, and you're like, well, it's about balance, right? I've eaten healthy today, but if I have that little bit of stuff, it's okay because I'm balancing it out. And what happens is there's no shift in those scales, okay? So what I really am empowered to do, and my great friend Lockie again goes into a lot more depth on it, is to teach people that it's not about balance at all. Yes, enjoy the things. I love pizza. I had a beer yesterday. Elysia loves pizza too. Most people do, right? That's okay. I might have pizza once a week. I had a beer yesterday. Absolutely fine. But 90 to 95% of the time, the food that is going into my mouth is absolutely clean and amazing. Now, does pizza taste better than health food? If it's on a scale like that, it does. Watch what starts to happen when you make it unbalanced. You'll start to enjoy the things. Your taste buds start to enjoy that health food. They actually start to crave it. You eat that pizza when you're clean, all of a sudden that thing that I mentioned earlier, when you know you put something in your body and straight away you feel it, starts to happen real quick. And your subconscious mind starts to go, well, maybe I don't want that anymore. Maybe, well, there you go, 98% meal, good food compared to bad food. Absolutely. Look, some weeks, I'll be honest, it's 70% health food, 30% junk food. There's going to be weeks where you do that, and that's okay. It's important to not beat yourself up. However, don't do it every week, because then it'll be 60-40, then it's 50-50, and then it's like, you know what? I've blown the month. Why don't I just, I'll start Monday, and then all of a sudden it's another month, and the kilos start to go on. You start to feel average. James, 6 days on, 1 day off. Love it. It's important, though, on that 1 day off, I believe, that you continue to still put some good stuff in, yeah? Not just have one blowout day, because then all of a sudden you start to crave that even more. So again, what I'm going to do is I'll drop that live in. I don't have a lot of time now, but Lockie really dives deep into the mindset behind it and what it really looks like to balance that or unbalance those scales. I should be careful using that word. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll into my fourth step here, which I've called the secret recipe. And at the start, I touched on that mindset now I've learned is 100% the key. Okay, it really is. It's 100%, because what was happening is I was seeing people get amazing results. We really were. We were seeing people get phenomenal results. I saw my mum lose 30 kilos in 4 months. Okay, but she fell back off. Right, it was all well and good while we were there holding her hand. And I've seen it. I've seen a guy drop 15 kilos in a month, which, again, I don't get that excited about. Is it sustainable? Not necessarily, but still fantastic results. People getting great results, but not maintaining the results. Now, we use a fantastic system that's very easy to follow, okay? A lot of people have the excuse that it's hard to stay healthy because you've got to prepare food, you've got to go shopping. There's so many different steps behind, getting it right. It's easier to be unhealthy, and it really is. It's cheaper, it's quicker. There's a thing called Gojek over here in Bali, which is kind of like Uber. It costs $1. They'll deliver food to your door. Super, super quick and easy, right? I don't have it. Okay, there's a tip. Don't have it on your phone because you don't have the excuse to use it. But we have a system that's easy to follow. People were using it. They were still dropping off, and they just continued to drop off one by one, getting the results, losing the weight, feeling amazing, telling us it's the best they've ever felt, but still dropping off. So I really had to dig deep into why that was. And I mentioned earlier, and I'm sure a lot of the trainers and coaches here have said it many times over, it's this subconscious thing. this subconscious. What's this subconscious? You know, what's this magical creature in our mind that controls 95% of what we do? And that was where I went. I'm like, I've got my nutrition right. That's easy for me because it's already programmed for me. But why aren't I seeing results, and why aren't other people seeing them? And that's where I started. I mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza. I honestly recommend everybody look him up and follow him if you don't, because I believe that he teaches how to reprogram it the best. Okay, I believe that he really breaks it down into the simplest form on how to really go deep into that subconscious. He gives some really great techniques. Like I shared earlier, fall asleep listening to something. Meditation every single day, every day. Again, it's something that you've got to teach yourself. You've got to reprogram doing that daily, which is something I've struggled with, is taking that 10 to 15 minutes, putting the blindfold on, getting in a dark room, shutting yourself off from the world, and really taking that time. And I know as a masculine man that I was for so long, I don't meditate. Isn't that for hippies? Now, I live in Bali. We're all hippies here, trust me, but you've got to do it, okay? It's an absolute game changer. So my wife and I start our day every day with a meditation. I actually heard not long ago that every billionaire in the world, there's 3 things that they all do. They interviewed 100 billionaires, and they all meditate within the first hour. They all exercise within the first hour, and they all wake up between 4:30 and 5:30, okay? And that's what we do. Now, do I want to be a billionaire? I'm not going to say no to it, but it's not what gets me out of bed in the morning. But hey, if they do it, I'm happy to do it as well. Okay, so meditation, absolutely a huge, huge, huge part of our daily rituals now, multiple times a day. Just Google Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations and you'll find a million, and find one that really resonates with you. Okay, that's what we did. The second thing that I've got there, I touched on how the nutrition, it can be quite toxic nowadays. Our environment's quite toxic. They did a test on a polar bear. Our skin's the largest organ in our body. They tested a polar bear in Antarctica, thousands of miles away. They had toxins in their body, okay? So you just can't escape that we're copying it left, right, and center nowadays. Again, if you don't understand that, or you think that it's not happening to you, I'm going to use the word, and I used to be afraid of this word, it's just plain ignorance. I used to think ignorance was a bad word. It's actually not. It's actually, I'm ignorant every day. I'm learning. If you don't know things, you're ignorant. You just don't know them, okay? So polar bears, toxins through the skin. Imagine what you're copying every single day. So a ritual that we do every week is cleansing our body, okay? We do intermittent fasting. We use an aloe-based cleanse drink that really just aids our liver and kidneys, okay? The body's the miracle. We just need to give it a little helping hand every now and then. A lot of people do a juice fast every 6 months. Amazing. You feel good for a week. Why not hit the reset button more often, okay? So my wife and I, we cleanse weekly, if not every couple of weeks, 24 to 60 hours of intermittent fasting, just to aid our bodies in really just hitting that reset button. Bali's quite a toxic place, beautiful place. But again, there's a lot of bugs over here. It's not the cleanest place. So, we really take that into account, and we really just hit that reset button. Now, a lot of people, I was an ex-semi-professional sports player. I cop it from a lot of men in particular. Well, if you fast, you're going to lose all your muscles, and you're not going to be strong, and you're going to lose weight and all these things. Again, I'll drop another video in on what actually happens to your body when you fast, and the human growth hormone spike, which means you actually put muscle on. So men out there, don't be afraid of the word fasting. It's absolutely incredible. I owned a landscaping business for 15 years, or landscape for 15 years. Day 2 of a fast, more energy, more strength than I've ever had in my life. If you've ever watched the movie Limitless, where he takes the pill and all his brain lights up, That's what happens when you're fasting. It's insane, okay? Take it from me. And then the last one I just wanted to share on, and I love that in the breaks there's been a bit of this happening, is just movement. We live in a digital world now where we're sitting down for so long. I know, Elysia, I messaged you and I just said, how are you? How are you? And you said, you know what, I've been stuck behind this screen for 12 hours and you know what you need to do, but, you know, we fall in the trap of not doing it. Get up and move your body. Honestly, just get up and move, okay? For 5 minutes, if you have to, set an alarm every hour to go off every day until you're used to it. It might annoy you, but it's going to prompt you to do it. Just set an alarm every hour. I did it for a while, and every hour, stupid alarm, it triggered what I needed to do. So just do it. Get up, move your body. You're going to feel better for it. Go get some fresh air if you can. It's been an interesting year. A lot of people have been locked down. Now we all value fresh air all of a sudden. So take that time to go and get that air into your lungs. Move for 5 minutes, then get back to doing what you're doing. So my secret recipe, reprogram, cleanse your body, and move your body. Now, I'm guessing I'm miles ahead of time, which is totally fine with me. But again, I'm going to drop some really cool stuff from people that inspire me daily. Again, I'm no professional. I really like to just learn a lot of stuff and teach what I learn like we all do. And, you know, let the pros really dig deep into that. If anybody really resonates with me, though, and ever wants to reach out, please feel free. I love just having a chat and talking the truth and not trying to hide anything that I've learned and obviously that I've been through as well and been able to implement. So thank you, Elysia, for absolutely everything you've done with this. It's been phenomenal. To all the other gents out there, let's really keep crushing it and inspiring men around the world.
Thank you very much, Rob. I so appreciate your time and all of your knowledge and honesty and authenticity. It's always wonderful to have it here on this platform. And I was laughing and pointing because like that's the whole reason that I have Calvin here. Well, I mean, not the whole reason. I mean, like Calvin has incredible wisdom to give for himself, but to have him moving us every hour for at least 5 minutes, and you know, it's just as much for me as all of you guys, because I know I'm terrible at getting up and moving around when I'm hyper focused on work. That's definitely one of my weak points. So Calvin, thank you for being here for us for the 5-minute exercises, and Rob for the excellent reminder of the importance for all of it. And then James has a question for you, Rob. He says, for meditation and for fasting, ? James, can you expand a little bit more on that? Just like hop off there. Take off your mic.
Brother, man. Great vibe. Thank you so much. Loving it all. A little bit jealous that you're in Bali. I'm in Canada, nice and cold right now. Question for you, Joe, is for meditation as your recommendation, who would you suggest to follow for fasting?
Yeah, it's a great point, mate. So what I'll do is I'll drop in the men's group this fasting video. It's about a 12-minute video that really goes into the different stages of intermittent fasting and obviously why it's not as scary as what people think. And it's really cool for men to watch. It was a really good video for me to watch years ago to give me just that I suppose that clarity and that sense of ease that the fasting periods are not as scary as what people think. And he really gives the timeline of it as well. And exactly if you've got 12 hours where you're going to hit this particular fasting state. And again, anybody else there that's done fasting, drop that in as well. But I'll put this particular video in on exactly what it is in the men's group. And that's by far the best one I've seen. It's all visual. He shares on the timeline the different periods. So I'll put that in, mate, and follow that along, and you'll just get clarity. There's so many different people, but I don't know, that video in particular, he's not a well-known guy, but it's been a really, really strong video that I share with a lot of people, and it empowers a lot of people to really get on board that.
Rob, can you speak a little bit on body dysmorphia for men? So for people who don't know what that word means, it's like body image issues in regards to men, because we hear a lot about it from women and in the media and whatnot, but I feel like men don't really get a lot of support on the stereotypes for body image.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think, Elysia, what's really cool about it, and I'll use an example, it's actually a female that Rhea and I met over here in Bali, and she's a big girl. Yeah, she's a big girl. Like, she's a tall girl. She has a big frame and totally in love with her body. Yeah. And it inspired me, because she said, I'm not thin. I don't have a small frame, and people have different body shapes. And I think that's the most important thing, is that it doesn't matter at all. You know, I work out. I did a really, really hard out 16-week body challenge. I was leg pressing over 300 kilos. I'm only a little guy, so I don't lift a lot of weights. I don't do a lot of gym, but I did a hard out 16-week challenge. I nailed my nutrition. I was smashing weights. I didn't miss the gym. Really nailed it. Barely got a six-pack, right? I barely did. My body, it's different, okay? And it doesn't worry me. At the time it did, I'm like, where the heck is this freaking massive ripped set of abs that I'm meant to have that other people get, right? Other people can get that in 30 days. I've worked with people that within 30 days, they're completely shredded. And I'm like, I've been doing this for years and I can't look like that. That's okay, right? 16 weeks, smash myself to try and get this body. I never want to do that again. I didn't enjoy it. I was sore. I was going to the gym at 10 o'clock at night just because I needed to get it in. I don't really particularly like gyms. I like to surf a little bit. I like to do some body weight stuff. What's Neil said, 8% body. I was there. I dropped 4% in 8 weeks. I went from 14% to 10%, and I still wasn't completely shredded, you know. And my body type just isn't like that. You can meet people that don't eat well, they don't work out. Best thing to do, though, don't compare to them. People just have it in their DNA to look like that, and it doesn't matter. We're actually meant to have body fat. You know, most people are worried about the little bit of fat around their belly. Men, put a number 3. I've done a 1 and a 2, but put a number 3 in the comments if you carry some weight around the belly. Now, we're not meant to have a whole heap there, but if we have some belly fat, that's okay. It's quite normal, you know, where if we get stuck out in the desert, or we get stuck out in the forest or whatever that is for a week, our body actually needs a little bit of body fat on it. So I think it's really important to just not worry about it. If you're not doing the work and you're not seeing the results, then dive a little bit deeper, yeah. But if you're doing the work like I was and wasn't seeing the results that the celebrities were showing online, it didn't, you know, it really doesn't matter. So I think it's important just to know that every single person is different. Every single person has a completely different DNA setup. And, you know, it's important that you know what yours is, you know what goals you want, and then go to work on just falling in love with yourself. And again, diving into that subconscious mind to find out why you may be looking at yourself in the mirror and feeling that way. It normally comes back down to a bit of a self-worth issue, which it was for me. It's like, well, I want to look really good when I take my shirt off so people notice. Does it matter? No. Do I look fit and healthy? Absolutely. Am I ripped like a He-Man? Not even close. Can my body ever do that? Probably not, because I need to eat about 4,000 calories and I don't have time for that. So, yeah, just be okay with who you are. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that, Rob.
Pleasure.
All right, guys, we have 10 minutes left for questions or other perspectives that you have in regards to masculinity, Rob, that you would think is important to bring forth. in the health and wellness industry. Maybe even things that you saw when you go to the gym in regards to how guys interact with each other, or between healthcare leaders and masculinity and how they're presenting themselves.
Yeah, sure. I think if you want to see the prime example of how not to be masculine, go to most gyms. I think it's such an interesting area. What I love to do when I go to the gym is smile and bring a different energy. I think it's really cool to go and speak to people because it is such a space, and not all gyms. I really don't want to stereotype, but there are a lot of gyms that I've been to where there's big men, and you can be quite intimidated. But what I like to do is I like to bring a different energy. And what you'll find is that most guys there are really lovely guys. They're actually just really self-aware and self-conscious, hence why they're lifting the big weights and trying to be, put the steely face on and not look at you. But if you smile and say hello and start to get to know them, it's a really cool little thing that you can do to see if you can shift that energy. So, yeah, I don't go to a lot of gyms, though, as well, because I don't particularly like going to the gym. It's as simple as that. So I think what's really important in regards to men and health and physical health is find what you love. Like, just find what you love. You don't need to go to gyms if you don't want to. There's so many different things. We have the internet now, honestly. If you want to do body weights and you're more comfortable at home, that's totally fine. Be okay with that. If you want to go to the gym and do your thing there. If you want to run, go and run. Like, find what feels good for you. And I know for me, I bobcatted and drove machines for 15 years. My body doesn't particularly love it. It loves stretching. It loves doing that slow movement stuff. It loves doing body weight stuff. And I've had to learn to be okay with that myself. So I think what's really important for men around that area is really just find what suits you and be okay with that, and bring an energy that's different to it and share that with other men. Empower other men to go, you know what, I do a little circuit at home, or I do some yoga, or I do some Pilates. And I think the more we talk about that, the more that it's going to shift that. And if you want to see that firsthand, come to Bali. You've got to start to accept that people do a whole lot of different stuff over here. And, it's cool. I know for me, I've had to accept that a lot of it, it's out there, and people just love themselves over here, which is really cool to see, and people are comfortable and, just empower people to do what you're doing. I think it's community, and it's, just leading from the front, doing what you love. Again, if you want to be free, I've got to be me. And I've challenged. I'm like, am I a professional with long hair? Am I professional wearing a hat? Like, Rhea and I have a hat brand, okay? Bucket hats are back in at the moment. So, I'm comfortable with that now. And I think the more people, and I've loved this, is guys out in fields with horses. It's been really cool to see that, and that's empowered me more. And I think, if we continue to do that together, watch what happens. There's going to be a lot more men that love themselves and fill their cup, right back to my first point.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Rob. James says a little off topic. He says, any suggestions to do a well-being retreat in Bali? Good time to do it with COVID situation. He's been wanting to host one for quite some time now. I guess you guys can talk about it later, he says, but just wanted to plant the seed. So are there retreats happening in Bali right now, Rob? Like, what's that like with the requirements?
Yeah, Bali's been quite interesting. I think if you're here in Bali, we're in a little bit of a bubble. We don't talk about anything else that's happening around the world. We sort of don't know, which has been quite special, right, to be here. Look, Bali just follows the lead, I think, just to show up. But, yeah, it's very tricky to get here at the moment. There's not a lot going on in that space. It's kind of business as usual out and about, but they're still trying to contain the people getting into gatherings and that type of thing. But I think what will happen though is that it will absolutely boom when the world goes back to normal, whatever that looks like, because people are so in tune with wanting to be healthy now. We've all been locked down and all of a sudden had all this time to do the things that we've been wanting to do for many years. And I think it's quite obvious that looking after our immune system is better than wearing a mask. So a little controversial maybe, but yeah, I think that the industry will blow up. I know we've seen a massive rise in it over the last 6 months. So yeah, definitely get to Bali and start doing it, because there's going to be a lot of people coming here, you know, looking for that escape and really looking to be educated on how to really look after themselves. Look, in case anything bad happens again, I think it's really the time now to take our health to a whole nother level.
Never, ever bad advice, no matter what's going on at any time of year, but especially, you know, when things are more difficult and bodies are needing more support. Well, it sounds like, Rob, that we need to do our first official men's summit that is not virtual out in Bali, so that everybody can come together. Maybe we can do our final summit at the end of 12 months of deep diving once a month, to support what masculinity looks like in the world, and we can have our accumulation in Bali.
Sounds great. There's there's plenty of really cool speakers and facilitators over here too, and such a beautiful space and, you know, great weather. So yeah, Bali's definitely the place to do it, that's for sure. And I'm sure nobody will complain about it, especially after 2020, whatever that year is. Once it's over, I think it'll be forgotten.
Indeed. Hear to that. So we have just 3 minutes left. Guys, any last minute questions, comments, affirmations? What you got?
Thanks for sharing, Rob. Appreciated everything that you were able to share, and especially bringing the Bali vibe over to the Men's Summit. Thank you.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Really nice. Do they have horses there?
There is horses here, absolutely. There's actually a really beautiful rare, and I backed onto a stable. Like literally, you looked out our bedroom window was down on a stable there. So yeah, lots of beautiful, healthy. They really look after the horses here, which is keeps Rhea happy because she's so in love with them. So there is. You ride them down the beach here.
Oh, it's been forever since I've ridden on the beach. That sounds fabulous. And it's nice too when you hear about other countries, because they don't always take great care of their horses when you hear about other places. So it's nice to have that information going on. So, all right. Last minute words before we jump onto Calvin's last for the night.
Yeah, look, for me, again, thank you for the opportunity. It really excites me that, you know, there's a platform now to be able to educate men around the world. I think it's something that we spoke about on one of our first Zooms, that there's so many women's movements, which is absolutely unbelievable. I think we've been overshadowed with the women's movements, and it's time that the men, you know, step up and have an opportunity to share the love. I think it's an exciting time to be alive, and I honestly think 2020 has been one of the best years, because it has really opened people up to learning and obviously educating other people on what they're doing, and I'm excited for moving forward. So Elysia, again, you should be super proud of what you've created. I think everybody's poured the love into you, and to the other men that have spoken, and all the other men that are coming. I think that's exciting as well. I know for me, I know a lot over here that have a lot of other wisdom that they can share. So yeah, it's exciting. And yeah, thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak. I was actually a little nervous. I've spoken in front of 1,000 people before, and it's been a while, so it challenged me. I've been quite quiet. So yes, public speaking or speaking definitely wasn't something I enjoyed 5 years ago, and I haven't had the opportunity this year because it's been quiet. So yeah, it's good to get the words out. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Mad respect, Rob. I gotta say thank you. Two things predominantly that I haven't done, because I am that macho guy going on about meditation. Like, what the fuck is meditation? Like, not for me. So that kind of hit home. So I promise you, I'm gonna undertake that mission. And same thing with fasting. I was like, what the fuck is fasting, man? I was all about balance, right?
Yeah.
For many years. So some aha moments there for me. So thank you for that. I'm going to explore. So I'm going to do my homework. I'll catch up with you later.
Sounds good. I'll drop all that stuff in that men's group, and yeah, I'll get back to adding everyone here on Facebook. I've been a lot going on over here, so if you can believe that in Bali. But I'll drop all the information that I said I would. I've written that down, and yeah, connect with everyone. It's been great. Thanks for that, James, as well. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same thing. I mean, thank you so much for sharing. And I mean, I've been, you know, exploring. I hate to even use the word diet. I look at it more as just like, you know, my eating habits. But I've been intermittent fasting or having a, you know, different calorie intake ideas since I was a kid. And so I really love it, and I love learning how to refine it and add new you know, applying new ideas and new theories, because they're constantly getting improved and refined. So thank you so much. And it's, yeah, I mean, like you said, the energy levels, you know, I on an average day, I have a 4-hour window in which I eat, and you know, everyone else is drinking coffee and they're getting tired, and I'm like, it's like 3 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm getting that second natural wave of my own energy from my own body fat getting burned, you know. And like, I'm 50, you know, I'm almost 52. What are these like 30-year-old guys like dying without coffee doing? I don't get it. So please, I'm excited to learn more.
Yeah, pleasure, mate. Thanks for that. And you know, it's yeah, again, the body's a miracle. We've overcomplicated it. You know, I don't count my calories. I do my fasting. I eat clean. I fill my mind with great stuff, and you know, it's every day's a breeze now. But you're right, it's changing every day. I almost think there's too much information because we don't know where to start. But I think if we keep it simple, and that's unreal, Neil, 52 years old and full of energy. And you know, again, I share Bob Proctor a couple of times. The bloke's nearly 90 years old, and you know, he just keeps charging and loves his life. And yeah, it's exciting. I think the world's learning that there's different ways to go about it. And I'm excited to drop these few things in for you guys to have a look at as well. Thanks, mate.
Fantastic. I love it so much. Rob, delivering. Fantastic. And thank you so much for your kind words. I so appreciate your support. And yeah, it's been quite the journey putting this together over the last 4 months. I've never done anything like this before. And the love and the support that all of the speakers have given me, it just means the world to me. So thank you so much for articulating that, for showing up, for being vulnerable and authentically sharing your journeys and your wisdom with me and with the world at large, as people continue to be able to watch this later on forecast.tv. Yeah, I feel very honored and privileged to get to be here with all of you, especially as the only woman that's on here. So thanks for that.